outline, which consists of introduction to inheritance, types of inheritance, implementation of inheritance, general examples of inheritance and its features, and finally it ends with the conclusion. So friends, before going to start the topic, I would like to give you small introduction of C++. As we all know that C++ is a programming language. So what actually means by a programming language? Yes friends, I will explain you by taking an example. So I am standing here and I am sharing something to you. This means indirectly I am communicating with you. So friends, if I want to communicate with you, I need a language. So now I am communicating with you in English. If a person wants to communicate with other person, he will communicate in Telugu, English or any other language. In the same way, if you want to communicate with the machine, that is, if you want to perform any computations or if you want to perform any task with the computer, we have to communicate with the computer. So that if we want to perform a task, we have to give some instructions to the computer. Then those instructions will be formed in the form of program. So to develop a program, we need a language called programming language. So friends, there are so many programming languages like C, C++, Java, Fortran, Oracle, etc. etc. Now, I would like to tell the introduction of C++. Before C++, friends, there is a other programming language called C, which is introduced by Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson in the year 1972. So, in those days, this C language was very popular and it is used a lot to develop the applications. At the same time, the another programming language developer, Bejan Stroustrup, he was worker on the other programming language called Simula, which is the first programming language consists of OOP features, that is object-oriented programming features. So, while Bejan Stroustrup was working with the C language, when Bejan Stroustrup was working with the Simula language, he faced a small problem with it. So, he decided to develop another programming language which consists of OOP features. Then after, he worked on the C language and he added some of the features of the OOP to the C language like class, polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction, and he developed another programming language called C with classes in the year 1979. So later it is renamed as C++. The Bejan Stroustrup has developed this C++ programming language. So friends, here in C++, the plus operator is the increment operator of the C language, which indicates that extra features are added to that C language. So in this way, the C++ language is introduced by Bejan Stroustrup in 1983. So friends, here as I said that C++ supports the OOP concepts. So how many OOP concepts are there? So friends, look at this slide. They are the OOP concepts like class, object, data encapsulation, data abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding and message passing. So friends, as we know that there are OOP concepts and our topic is inheritance in C++. So friends, inheritance is the one of the component of That is one of the component of the object-oriented programming. So what is the definition of inheritance? Or what do you mean by inheritance? Yes friends, I will explain you what is inheritance. So while defining inheritance, I would like to take a small example. So friends, we all know that we are the children of our parents. That means we will acquire some qualities from our parents like anger or patience, like blood group or some other qualities from our parents. And we will have our own qualities, like we will have our own attitude, we will have our own memory grasping power, we will have some extra features in ourselves. So here, taking the features or taking the qualities from others, here we are taking the qualities from our parents. So taking the qualities from our parents is called as inheritance. So friends, now the actual definition of the inheritance is the mechanism by which a new class is derived from an existing class. So inheritance is the process by which a new class is derived from an existing class. In other words, inheritance means taking the properties from one class to another class. So in the other words, inheritance is taking the properties from one class to another class. Here, so friends, here a new class is nothing but the derived class, and the existing class is called as the base class. So what is actual mean by a base class, or what is actual mean by a derived class? Okay friends, I will tell you what is mean by base class or what is mean by derived class. So base class is the class which inherits the properties to the other class. So base class is the class which inherits properties to the other class, and the base class is also called as parent class or child superclass. So the base class is also called as the parent class or child class. While coming to the derived class is the class which inherits the properties from the base class. So derived class is the class which inherits the properties of the base class. So friends, I had a doubt. Here I am using class, base class, derived class. So what is mean by a class? So friends, class is a user defined data type. So class is a user defined data type which consists of data members and methods. So friends, class is a user defined data type which consists of data members and methods. So here data members are nothing but variables, constants and etc. While coming to methods, methods are the operations performed on the operators. So methods are the operations performed on these data members. So friends, now I will look at this picture. Here I had taken two classes. One is base class and other is derived class. In base class consists of features 1 and features 2. While coming to the derived class, it consists of features 1, features 2, features 3 and features 4. So as I implemented inheritance to these classes, that is to base class or derived class, the features of the base class are derived to the derived class. So that's why the derived class consists of features 1 and 2, that is the features of the base class, and its own features like features 3, features 4, etc. So here friends, I had explained you what is base class and what is derived class, how it is inherited, how the features of base class is inherited to derived class. So, how we can define base class or how we can define a derived class? Yes friends, if we want to define a base class or if we want to define a derived class, we need a syntax. So, here I will explain you how the base class is defined and how the derived class is defined. So, as there is the syntax for every definition, the syntax for defining base class is here the class, which is the keyword and user defined data type they had taken here, and then after the base class name. So, which class we want to define, the name of that class. Inside the class there are private members, public members and protected members. So, here the private, public and protected are called as the access specifiers. Here the private members and public members or protected members are nothing but the data members of the class and methods of the class. The private members of the base class are not inherited to any of its derived class. So friends, the members which are under the private section are not derived to any of its base class, and the public members of the base class are inherited to all of its derived classes. So the public members of the base class are inherited to all of its derived classes. While coming to the protected members of the base class, these will be inherited only to its derived class. So the protected members of the base class are inherited only to its subclasses. So friends, by using this syntax, we can define the base class. And if we want to, there is another syntax of defining a derived class. So look at the picture. Here there is the class keyword and then after the derived class name. So which class want to define? So which derived class we want to define, the name of the class, that class should be returned here. Then colon, then after access specifier, that those are either public or private or protected. So then after the base class name, from which class we are deriving a derived class. So in the derived class also, it consists of data members and methods which are under public sessions, private session and protected section. So friends, as we all know that there are three types of access specifiers. Now I would like to pose a question to you all. So what happens if we take access specifier as public, or what happens if we take access specifier as private? What happens if we take the access specifier of protected? Okay friends, I will tell you what happens if we take the access specifier as public, private or protected. So friends, if we take the access specifier as public, then the base class is inherited publicly. So if we take the access specifier as public, the base class is inherited publicly. Then the data members that under public section, that is the data members of the base class which are under public section, will become the public members of the derived class. So if we take access specifier as public, the base class is inherited publicly. That means the public members of the base class will become the public members of the derived class. So friends, look at the picture. I had taken two classes. class A and class B. Here the class A consists of private members, protected members and public members, while the class B also contains the private members, protected members and public members. So in private there is an integer type of value A1, and in protected there is another integer type of value A2, and in public there is integer type of value A3. In the same way, class B also contains the integer type of value B1 in private, integer type of value B2 in protected and integer type of value B3 in public. So friends, as I am implementing inheritance to these classes, the class B will become the derived class. Then after the access specifier I had taken the public, then the base class name, that is A. So as I am implementing inheritance to both class A and class B, as I said earlier, if I take the access specifier public, the public members of the base class will become the public member of the derived class and the other remains same. So look at this picture friends. Here in this class B, that is derived class, the integer type of B1 is under private and the integer type of value A2 and B2 are under protected, and in public, as I said, the base class members and derived class members, that is integer type of value B3 and integer type of A3 are there. So friends, you all know what happens if I take access specifier as public. Now I would like to tell you what happens if I take the access specifier as private. So friends, if I take the access specifier as private, then the base class is inherited privately. So the base class is inheriting privately. Then the members of the base class, that is the private members of the base class, will not become the members of the derived class, and the protected members, public members of the base class remains same. So here I had taken the same two classes, that is class A, class B. So there are the same data members in both the classes. As we are implementing inheritance to these classes and I am taking the access specifier as private, as I am taking the access specifier as private, the protected members and public members, of the base class will also become the protected members, private members of the derived class. So friends, as I am taking the access specifier as private, then the protected members and the public members of the base class will become the private members of the derived class, and the protected members and public members of the derived class B will remain same as the protected members and public members. And here observe one thing, the private member of the class B remained same as the private member of the derived class, but the private member of the class A is not inherited to the derived class. So friends, I said that earlier the private members of the base class are not inherited to the derived class. So as we observe here, in the class A, the private member is not inherited to the derived class. Then now I want to tell what happens if we take the access specifier as protected. So friends, if we take the access specifier as protected, the base class is inherited protectedly. That means the protected members, that means the public members and protected members of the base class will become the protected members of the derived class. So friends, if we take the access specifier as the protected, it means that we are inheriting base class protectedly. So the public members and the private members of the base class will become the protected members of the derived class. So as we all are looking at the figure, here the same. So the protected members of the base class and the public members of the base class are becoming the protected members of the derived class, while the private members and the public members of the base class B remain same, but the protected members and public members of the base class are becoming the protected members of the derived class. So friends, I hope that you all clear about what happens if we take the access specifier as public, private and protected. Now I had a doubt. What happens if we don't take any type of access specifier? What happens if we don't take any access specifier? So friends, if we don't take any access specifier, by default the data members or the methods or the classes will come under the private session. So they automatically comes under the private access specifier. So friends, till now I had explained you about the access specifiers. Now I would like to tell you about the types of inheritance. So friends, as we all know that there are 5 types of inheritance. One is single inheritance, second multi-level inheritance, third multiple inheritance, fourth hierarchical inheritance, and the fifth is hybrid inheritance. So friends, now I would like to explain the types of inheritance by taking examples in our examples. So the first one is a single inheritance. So single inheritance is known as deriving a single derived class from a single base class. So single inheritance is nothing but deriving a single derived class from single base class. So friends, in single inheritance it consists of only 2 classes. One is the base class and the other is the derived class. So look at this picture friends. Here I had taken 2 classes, that is class vehicle as the base class and class car as the derived class. Here, as I said about single inheritance, it consists of 2 classes. So here the vehicle is the base class from which, and car is the derived class from which it is derived from the vehicle. So vehicles means there are lot of vehicles like car, bus, etc. and etc. So here while coming to the derived class car is also a one type of vehicle. So here I had chosen this example. Next, how we will define a single inheritance? How we will define the single inheritance? So as we all know that if you want to define something, there are syntax for that. So here is the syntax for defining the simple inheritance. Firstly, as we are taken the vehicle as the base class, so first we have to define the base class, that is the class, next the base class name, vehicle, next it consists of its own data members and methods in the base class of vehicle. Then after we have to define the derived class. So the syntax for defining the derived class is class, derived class name, car, colon, then after visibility mode. So friends, here the visibility mode is nothing but the access specifier. That means private, public or protected. And next we have to write the derived base class name, that is vehicle. So in the derived class also it consists of its own data members. So friends, it is a single inheritance, and single inheritance is also called as the simple inheritance. So it is the first type of the inheritance, and then other is multi-level inheritance. So and the other is multi-level inheritance. So multi-level inheritance is a type of inheritance in which the class is derived from another derived class. So multi-level inheritance is the type of inheritance in which a new class is derived from the existing derived class. So friends, look at this picture. Here I had taken three classes: class base, class derived 1, class derived 2. So here base is called as the superclass. Here base is called as the superclass, while the derived 1 is called as the subclass, and the derived 2 is called as the subclass of derived class 1. So here I am deriving the derived 2 class from the derived class derived 1 class. So friends, here we are deriving derived 2 class from the derived class derived 1. Here the derived 1 class acts as the derived class to the class base, and sometimes it acts as the base class of derived 2. So that's why it is called as the intermediate base and derived class. That's why it is called as the intermediate base and derived class. So friends, as usual we all know the syntax for defining inheritance. In the multi-level inheritance, firstly we have to define the base class followed by the derived class, then after the derived class 2. So the next type of inheritance is multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. In multiple inheritance, a single class is derived from more than one base classes. In multiple inheritance, a single class is derived from multiple base classes. So friends, look at the picture. In this picture I had taken A, B, C as the base classes, and from these base classes I am deriving a subclass X. So here in X, it consists of features of the class A and class B and class C. It means it can access the data members and methods of the class A, class B, class C. So it is the multiple inheritance. So we firstly, to define the multiple inheritance, we have to define the base classes we had taken. So here I had taken 3 base classes. So firstly we have to define these 3 base classes, then after we have to define the subclass of these 3 base classes. So class A, which consists of its own data members and methods, class B, which in same way, which consists of the data members and methods, then after class C and its data members and methods. So now we have to define the derived class or subclass X. So next, it is the syntax for deriving the derived class in the multiple inheritance. That is class, the derived class name X colon visibility mode A, that is the base class 1, and visibility mode B, that is the base class 2, and visibility mode C, This is the third base class. So if we are defining X with all the 3 base classes, it consists of features of all the 3 base classes and its own features. And the next type of inheritance is hierarchical inheritance. So, deriving multiple classes from a single base class is known as a hierarchical inheritance. So, deriving multiple classes or multiple subclasses from the single base class is called as a hierarchical inheritance. So, it is opposite to the multiple inheritance. As we all know that in multiple inheritance, we are deriving a subclass from, deriving a single class from multiple base classes. But in hierarchical inheritance, we will derive multiple subclasses from a single base class. So friends, look at the picture. Here there is a single base class, and from this base class we are deriving 3 subclasses, nothing but multiple subclasses. Here I had taken the base class as student. Here there will be types of students like arts students, science students and commerce students. So these 3 are the subclasses to the base class student. So these 3 are the subclasses to the base class student. So we know how to define the multiple inheritance. In the same way, it is, as I said, that it is opposite to the hierarchical inheritance. So we will define the hierarchical inheritance as follows. So firstly we have to define the base class, that is class student. We have to define this student class firstly. So class student. So in class students there will be its data members and methods. While coming to the derived class, there are 3 derived classes, that is arts, science and commerce. Firstly we have to define the arts student, then after science student, then after commerce student. So class, that is arts, which is the derived class of the class student, colon visibility mode, either we can take private, public or protected as the visibility mode, then the base class name, that is student. In the same way we can define the science students and commerce students by using the syntax. And the last type of inheritance is hybrid inheritance. So hybrid inheritance is a combination of 2 or more inheritance. So hybrid inheritance is a combination of 2 or more types of inheritance. So either it may be multiple or multi-level inheritance, multi-level or hierarchical inheritance, or multiple or multi-level or hierarchical inheritance. It is a combination of 2 or more types of inheritance. So friends, look at the picture. Here there is a class person, which is, and we are deriving the class student from the person class. So, and we are deriving the PG student from the student class and get score class. So here this is called as the multi-level inheritance. So this is called as the multi-level inheritance. While the student class and the get score class and PG student class, this is called as the multiple inheritance. So friends, here I had taken the example of two classes, that is, two types of inheritance in the hybrid inheritance, that is the multi-level inheritance and multiple inheritance. So friends, if we want, now we will define this hybrid inheritance. To define the hybrid inheritance, here is the syntax. So here the syntax is class person. So here we have taken the person class as the base class. So firstly we have to define it class person. So in person class there will be the data members and methods of that class. Then we have to define the class student, because student is deriving from the class person. So student is the class deriving from the class person. So class student, the derived class name, colon, here I had taken the access specifier as public, and the base class name, that is the person. So in the derived class it consists the data members and methods of its own and data members and methods of the class person. Then after friends, we have to define the get score. So it is a multiple inheritance. We have to define the class get score. So to define the get score, we can define it directly. Why? Because it is the other base class. So it is the other base class. So class get score and its data members and methods. Friends, here we are not defining the class student. Why? Because again in multiple inheritance. Why? Because student, it is the derived class of the person. And here, as I said that this is the multiple inheritance, it acts as the base class to the PG student. So I hope you clear. And next you have to define the last derived class, that is PG student class. So PG student class. Here the PG student class is deriving from two base classes. So as I defined the student class and the get score class, now we have to define the PG student class. So here the syntax class PG student, the derived class name, colon. In here, as we are implementing the multiple inheritance, we have to take the access specifier public student, comma, and public get score. So we have to write the two base class names here. So it consists of its own data members and methods. So friends, I hope you are clear about the types of inheritance. Now I would like to tell what are the features or what are the advantages of the inheritance. So friends, the advantage of the inheritance is reusability. One of the advantage of the inheritance is reusability. Reusability. I will explain this by taking a small example. First, suppose if we had taken a class A and we had written a code of 100 lines in the class A, and if we want the same code in the class B, again we will write the 100 lines of the class code, 100 lines code of the class A and the other 50 lines of the class B. So we have to write again and again the same code. So by implementing inheritance, we can, the derived class contains of base class features, nothing but the code of the base class and the code of the derived class and its own derived code. So it will save the time and effort. By less time we can complete the program, and with less efforts we will complete the program. So these are the advantages of the inheritance. So friends, till now I had explained you about what is mean by inheritance and how many types of inheritance are there and what are the access specifiers which are used in the inheritance. Finally, I would like to conclude that inheritance, it is not only used in the programming language or in the programs, it is also used in our daily life. So friends, thank you for listening to me. Now I would like to thank our Honorable Secretary Sir R.S. Praveen Kumar Sir for giving me this wonderful opportunity, and next I would like to thank our Principal Sir, that is Sampath Kumar Sir, the Principal of TTWREIS for Women, Asifabad. And then after I would like to thank my mentor, Madams Lavanya ma'am and Shilpa ma'am, who encouraged me a lot and made me to stood here. Thank you so much.